What is up, YouTube? We're here to finish the DLC of Callisto. I'm very excited to be done with this mid-game.
And we were
I'm not even the one playing it.
We're kind of doing an impromptu let's try, so I haven't practiced this in like 2 weeks. Because I wasn't expecting to do.
Yeah, I got home.
Or let's plays.
Yeah, I got home and Ash was like, do you want to do let's plays tonight? And I was like, oh, I didn't realize that was an option. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Not that I would maybe even practice this, because
What's the point?
it's whatever.
Okay, so I still have to figure out what the epic ending is, which I still, by the way, it's been a couple weeks, and I haven't even cared to look it up. All I know is when I was looking up, what is this called? Final Encounter or
Final Transmission.
Final Transmission. When I was looking it up just to verify the name of it, like I just googled Callisto Protocol DLC, and every single thing that came up was like something Callisto Protocol ending explained, ending ... you know, whatever. And I was like, oh man.
The ending is the only thing like noteworthy about this, but it is just so baffling.
Well, I'm glad to know that the Callisto Protocol and therefore PUBG universe dies with this. So.
Actually, Striking Distance Studios was in. I saw some rumors or articles about them. How apparently they still exist and they're making a game.
Let's go.
I doubt it'll be Callisto Protocol because the founder of Dead Space, or the creator of Dead Space, left the studio already.
Glenn Schofield?
Yeah. He left in like September.
Speaking of, actually, this is a really, really opportune timing. So, PlayStation had their State of Play, or one of the State of Plays last week, or a couple days ago. And there was a game that the second it started up, I was like, oh, it's Bioshock. But it's called Judas, and apparently it's made by Ken Levine. Which it's like, Ken Levine made Bioshock. And I guess maybe he can't make Bioshock anymore, because maybe Take-Two owns it or something.
I think after Bioshock Infinite, he was just done with AAA development, like he was just tired of it.
Makes sense. But man, I don't know anything about it, but the second I watched it, I was like, oh, are they doing like a Bioshock like remaster? I mean, it didn't look like the exact thing, but I was like, I don't know, is this in the same universe? And it was like, nope. Looks just like Bioshock, but with a girl protagonist. Which doesn't matter one way or the other, but I was like, man, he really sticks to that style that he knows.
I mean, Bioshock Infinite is really infamous for having a very different, like, early, like, trailers versus the final product. And I think what probably happened is that Take-Two, the publisher, probably intervened a lot and changed the scope of the game to, like, chase, like, Call of Duty money, which is why they, in my opinion, I know a lot of people like that game, but I think that game is, like, terrible. In terms of just being, like, a very bland, like, Call of Duty, like, 2-weapon swap, just corridor shooter.
That game? I feel like most of the things I see on it nowadays is people being like, it's not...
I guess, like, retroactively people disliked it. But
I mean, it's not bad. I don't
want
to
say when it first came out, like, the critic response was, like, amazing. I think I was, like, over, like, 90 Metacritic.
Yeah.
And I remember everyone loving that game. In fact, one of our most prolific CIB
customers?
LW? Yeah, Lucas Wentz. I remember him talking to me for, like, an hour about that game. And actually, I just saw him, like, this week.
Oh, that's cool.
For the first time in, like, forever.
What was I going to say? Yeah, his mom stops in at least, obviously, once a year and gets them gift cards for, like, their birthdays or whatever.
Lucas, yeah, you bought a PS5. You traded in his PS4.
Oh, that's cool.
I hope you like your PS5, Lucas Wentz.
Oh, that's cool. I'm glad we had that for him. You know, revisionist history is really a thing, obviously. I mean, you look at something like... a great example for me, because I lived through it. I was 15 when the game came out, but, Wind Waker, had a lot of people were not big on Wind Waker, Zelda Wind Waker, when it came out. And nowadays, it's like, I've literally, in the past 5 years, not heard a single person, whether online or in store, say anything negative about Wind Waker. And in fact, people are like, oh, I need to find it, it's the best game ever. And, like, that's the revisionist history of it.
Definitely sucks that the two versions of Wind Waker are both hard to find now.
Yeah, the Wii U one even tougher.
Like, Twilight Princess has 3 versions, and 2 of them are really expensive, like, even more expensive than Wind Waker. But at least you can play the Wii one, even if it's, like, not optimal.
Yeah.
But, like, Wind Waker, it's like, spend $70 on GameCube, or spend $70 on Wii U.
Pretty much. So, revisionist history, the reason I went into it is, when Bioshock 2 came out, people in generally, it was very lukewarm. They were like, because I don't think it was made by Ken Levine and the main team. It was like some side thing, and people were like, "Oh, Bioshock 2 is clearly the worst of the 3." What I've been seeing more people. I'm not gonna say the majority, but more people say Bioshock 2 is the best one.
I think Bioshock 2 is definitely the best gameplay. It's basically the benefits of Bioshock 1, like atmosphere and setting. And you playing as a big daddy with all his weapons, and like you still have like the special powers. I forget what they're called. Plasmids, is that it?
Yeah, I think so.
And then you have like really cool big daddy like melee weapons and stuff. I think it's the best gameplay for sure. I'm just not sure if it's like my. It's either 1 or 2 for sure. They're pretty close. 1 is more original and has like a more iconic story, but 2 is the better game. I guess is how I would view it.
That makes sense. I never heard anyone say that years ago that Bioshock 2 would even be considered the best one. It was always like you either liked 1 or Infinite, and then 2 was the least good. That like always. Oh my god. Ooh.
Before you is my greatest sin. For even the
Oh, something super sad's about to happen. The one cool thing about this game is about to be ripped away from us. Actually, kind of the one biggest problem with this game is getting ripped away with us. I have mixed opinions on it.
Looks like a fine room. I thought you were being literal when you say like the biggest. Oh, his thing broke.
Yeah.
Ah.
The stun baton's a cool weapon, but this game is so based on melee, and I don't think the melee is.
When you said ripped away, I was like, oh my god, are they gonna rip off his arm? And you can't
That'd be awesome,
right? And you can't do like it's the same thing happened. You can't do what you call it anymore, right? Melee, or can you do melee still?
No, we cannot.
Okay, so I thought they were gonna rip off his actual arm. I was like, well, that's a way to stop melee from happening.
Well, you'll see in, like, I forget when it happens, in, like, 10-15 minutes. Melee comes back in a big way.
I hope he goes Super Saiyan.
Can
you get a gameplay tutorial hint, like...
Okay, I don't care. These guys can't shoot you, they just chase you and punch you.
Can you get a gameplay tutorial hint 2 hours into the DLC?
Yeah, seriously.
Okay.
Hey there, bud. No, that's fine.
Oh, you can still dodge.
Yeah, I'm still an MMA fighter, so it's fine.
Good.
It's not like me getting punched as an infinite kill or auto kill. I think it's it's over here. Would you like to run through it or spend 5 minutes sneaking through it?
I mean, if that's an option, you would just run through
I mean, if it was like the base game and the robots killed you on sight, then obviously I'd have to sneak, but they decided not to. Oh yeah.
So I've been playing this pretty neat PS5 game called The Medium. Have you heard of this?
Yeah.
Oh, you have? It's pretty cool.
Isn't that the game that Bloober team made? Look at that.
Yeah, let me see.
I think that's one of the reasons why they were handed the Silent Hill 2 license. Because they're probably cheap, and they made the Medium.
We'll know in a sec. Yeah. Developed and published by Bloober Team. It's a pretty interesting game so far. The whole gimmick of that is that you kind of exist between normal reality and like a ghost dimension, and oftentimes you will be the screen will split in half, and you are playing in both the original and the ghost world, and I like that as a general thing. So I'm only maybe like 2 hours in. So far there's no combat or anything, and I watched a video that was like best indie horror games, and I don't know if you ever watched this guy. His name's Avalanche Reviews. He like really, really loves horror games.
Doesn't he make like the 6-hour things? Who watches this?
I do to sleep, if that helps.
I guess that makes sense. If it's background noise.
Yeah, it's background noise.
But I remember getting recommended, and it's like, deep dive of Resident Evil franchise.
Well,
10
okay.
hours.
Here's something
Like,
here's something to keep in mind. When I'm at the store late at night, like doing stuff, and I'm just walking around and there's like no noise or anything, I'll turn on my phone and just put it in my pocket and just have something play whatever while I'm like going around, or if I'm in storage or
It
whatever.
must be the target demographic for
Pretty
this.
much. But anyway, he said that it wasn't really a horror game, and I agree. It's more of like a puzzle game in a horror setting, but I've been enjoying it so far. That's really funny that I just randomly, I had no idea it was Bloober. I just randomly was like, hey, it A, has a physical copy, and B, the physical copy is like $20, right? So I was like, let's do it. But yeah, it's pretty decent game so far.
Well, maybe you'll like Silent Hill 2 remake.
Probably will.
As of right now, it's like February 14th or something, and they just showed Silent Hill 2 remake existing in the state of play in this month. And I thought it looked terrible. But we will see, I guess.
All I know, dude, oh my god. So, the last 2 horror games I played had literal trigger warnings when it first started up, and not getting into, like, the whole, like, I'm not even being political about this. I understand trigger warnings in, like, normal things in everyday life, but I specifically popped in a horror game about a World War I soldier losing his mind. Why do I need to see trigger warnings about how war is terrible?
So that new Silent Hill game that just dropped, like, literally, like, when the state of play happened, whatever it's called, has those trigger warnings too.
I don't... So that means Silent Hill 2 is going to say, trigger warning for the Silent Hill 2 remake. It, has
domestic abuse.
And self-harm and, the S word. I don't want to get... Well, we're not demonetized, but I don't want to get delisted as a channel. But like, what? Like, I get it. I get it if it's like a random Netflix show. But like, I specifically popped in a horror game that's rated mature and is about the one I was talking about is called Ad Infinitum. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but literally, it's like I was like, oh, ooh, I was like, oh, World War I, bunch of trench warfare crap going on, cool. And it was like. I think it was either that or the Medium specifically said, our team all has different political views, but we come together to tell a story. And I was like...
So lame.
I was like, why? Why?
Okay, here we go.
All
Here's Melee. This is when this DLC gets just silly.
He's Thor?
We literally get Thor's hammer.
Mjolnir, or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Mjolnir.
Mjolnir. How do you know that more than I do? That's so funny.
Because it's in, like, other games.
Oh, okay. Oh, just kind of like how I never knew, like...
I also just played God of War Ragnarok. I don't even think you did that.
No, I didn't play any of the God of War games. They suck. Well, I don't like them. I don't like that style of game. I prefer the old ones. But just kind of like the Masamune, as a kid and a teenager, I never realized it was like an actual like mythical sword.
Actually, it's pronounced Masamune.
Is it really?
Yeah.
What about the Muramasa? Am I pronouncing that right?
That's right. Yeah.
All right.
But whenever you see like any in Japanese, it's always an A.
Masamune.
So.
Dude, our one employee, Noah, once in a while I get him to laugh, and it's like, it's the best feeling ever. Because he's not like, he's a super good guy, but like, he's very, very, very even-keeled. So once in a while, I'll just say something, and like, he actually laughs, and I'm like, bro. Like, one day, I was like, hey Noah, can you get the walls, Noah-sama? And he was like, what? Okay. And he was the other day, he was making Easy Mac, and I said, oh, you didn't get the difficult Mac? And he sat there for like 30 seconds and was like, what? And then he was like, oh! And I was like, yeah, it was really bad, I'm sorry. But he did laugh at it. So I was like, I'll take it. But yeah, just to finish off on that, please, like, don't, like, I understand a trigger warning in, like, an adventure game that's rated like teen or whatever, but like, bruh, I'm playing Silent Hill 2, and now I know it's gonna come when it starts up. It's gonna be like,
not only is it like
so lame.
not only is it super lame, but it literally ruins and spoils the story.
Yeah, oh, that is true. If I assume there's going to be some people that haven't played Silent Hill 2 that are going to play the remake. What would you say, 25 to 50% of people?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So it's like...
The game came out 20 years ago.
Right. So it's like, oh, this contains self-harm and blank. It's like, oh, where's that in? So you already know it's a thing that exists in this, and it's like, bro. Oh, man. It's just going to be so... It's...
People are just so sensitive. Or developers believe that people are sensitive.
I think developers believe people are so sensitive. I think your average person... And besides, my major point is, if someone is that sensitive, why are they playing a horror game based on World War I trench warfare? Right? Like, okay, if you're gonna have self-harm in a My Little Pony episode for whatever reason, please put the trigger warning. You know, but like, dude, come on. Like, don't... And like, it sounds so stupid, and I'll get off the subject then, but it really takes me out of the experience when stuff like that's there. I'm like, I know I'm playing a video game. I'm not that dumb. But it still takes me out of it like, oh, man. And then it makes me personally think the developers wouldn't go as hard as they could go. Does that make sense? Like, because they're, like, afraid of, like, making people, like, upset or sad or whatever. Totally. It's like, no, I want a game, like, if I'm playing some sad psychological horror game, I want them to ruin everything. I want them to, like, ruin my life. I want them to make it so depressing, so messed up. That's my talk about that. I just can't believe it was 2 games in a row I picked, and now every time I boot them up, I have to see it. It's not even just like one-time thing. Every time I boot the damn game up, I'm like, bruh.
It's super lame.
Should do that for, they should have did that for the Dead Space remake. These necromorphs used to be humans, you know.
Trigger warning, mental hallucinations, aka how to ruin the game.
Oh god, yeah! It literally would if they put that there. So you want, like, literally no bad guys between your stun baton and this? Or maybe some, and I wasn't paying attention? But it was not a long period of time until you immediately... Oh, no, you had that one room. You had that one room where you had to sneak past the enemies. And that was it until you got
That was it, yeah. And now we are literally using Thor's hammer to beat the crap out of these robots. What is this game?
There are certain games that are just prime for people doing like Let's Plays or streaming or whatever. And I think this is legitimately the antithesis of a streaming game. I just can't imagine anyone ever...
This game just has no market.
Yeah, like being interested enough to watch it, like probably the 2 most streamable games of all time for games that were made in the last, not in the last 5 years, is Mario 64 and Zelda Ocarina of Time. Probably. I mean, they're just, you can watch them just every second of every day and be like, this is it. There are certain games where people will ask, hey, play this game on LPs, and it's just like, it's not interesting. Like, I started the medium, and the first 15-20 minutes, I was like, I'm going to LP this game. And then I got 2 hours in, and I was like, I am not going to LP this game.
Dude, the one game I'm playing right now, it's called Trails of Cold Steel, which is just the most weepy JRPG. What's going on?
Uh-oh.
Anyway, it's the most weepy JRPG, and I was just thinking about, like, what if I LP'd this? How long would it take? How bored would Spencer be?
Is it, I mean, even if you did all the, we do RPG sometimes, but we strategically place it so we don't have to, what's the word, grind on screen. Is there a lot of grinding in that game?
Let's put it this way. There is an in-game thing to always have the game speed up, and I have it on constantly. And I have 60 hours in that game, and I'm still, like, 1 chapter from the end.
Man.
It would take our entire lives.
What, are they running away from you?
Are you picking up on what's going on in the plot yet?
Maybe I'm being small-brained because I just worked a Saturday at CIB.
That biophage just disappeared in front of us. And
So-
there's ones in... Do you see how like they're appearing in front and behind us?
Yeah. I mean, clearly he's, like, losing his mind or whatever. So if I had to guess, and this is just a complete guess, it would be that he's not fighting biophages, he's fighting humans. Kind of like a Silent Hill 2, they look like monsters to you kind of thing.
You're right about one thing and wrong about the other.
Okay. You know, I'm glad I'm at least not super far off.
Nice box of hands.
Oh, cool. Was that meant to be?
Yeah, totally intentional.
Oh, cool.
I'm not saying that's a glitch. Is there anything else in there?
Yo, what? Oh no.
Aye!
What if they? Well, what happens if you don't dodge that? By the way, do you get hit?
I don't know. Oh my god.
What the crap?
It was one of those exploder ones. No! No! I just dodged that from behind. Dude.
He's literally John Cena. What if they do? Oh man. What if they do the thing?
I'm so screwed. Yeah.
Are you dead?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, that's certain.
That was cool.
What if they do the thing where like Jacob died near the end of the game and this is his brain shutting off? Like this is like the last like 30 seconds before his brain shuts off. I'm trying to throw out a bunch of ideas that I would never actually throw out if I was making this game. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
As like if I was sitting in a room with a bunch of writers and I was like, pitch your worst ideas. That's what I'm pitching right now. I mean,
The really frustrating thing about this is that these biophages are both real and fake, so they can damage me really easily. And they die in one hit, but they keep... They spawn in front of you, and then they disappear. It's impossible to tell what's happening.
yeah.
I just died!
Oh, wow. I mean, the worst thing they could possibly do is it was, like, all a dream, right? Like, that's the worst possible thing.
Yeah, for sure.
That's to the point where even if
Did it just give it to me? Okay, cool.
Wow.
Wait, no, it didn't.
even if something like a Rick and Morty did it to, like, mess with people, that's still, like, absurd. Like, It's All a Dream is, like, past 1989, you can't do that. So
And
that's why
it's a $70 game that people already didn't like, and they made you pay $15 for it, and it ends up being a dream. Wouldn't that be embarrassing?
yeah, it certainly would.
Oh my god.
What is... Dude, this game is literally dying.
I just have to get past this. But they keep respawning, which is why I'm trying to run through it. No!
What the hell?
Oh my god.
Are you like one step away from the end of the game?
No!
This looks like a final battle.
This is like the worst thing ever. If they just had regular biophage attacking me, it'd be fine, but they spawn in all these suicide bombers.
Do you have like a area of effect attack or whatever?
It takes forever.
Oh yeah, that takes forever. I was thinking just do the area of effect and just run. This game's like, you want to beat me? My mediocreness? No, sir.
The game really is just punching the balls at the last second.
Isn't that what great game design is?
Dude, just let me fly.
And there's no way you can fight everything because they just keep appearing.
In this game, the combat is so animation-based that you can't, like, get by stuff easily.
I legitimately have no idea what's going on half the time in this room.
It's pretty bad. Oh my god, please don't kill me. Yeah, cool.
That was cool. What the? That was not cool.
Just die, idiot! Just let me by.
Got him. How close are we to the end?
Pretty close. 20 minutes.
Well, that room was... I was like, is this literally the end? With how that room was. Sending 6 of those crawling suicide bombers at the same time. Or 1, however they do it.
It's definitely getting close to the end, but it's not quite there.
I will say the effect of having those enemies appear and disappear is pretty neat.
It's cool, but it sure is confusing. I like the effect, but the fact that I can get damaged by it is so frustrating.
What's good old Glenn Schofield up to now? That he's not with striking distance.
Who's gonna hire him to do anything? He made a $170 million flop.
I guess that's true.
Okay, this is the last portion before the end of the game.
Ooh.